All right, good evening, everybody. This is Yonks with REtoken DAO or REtoken. We are a real estate tokenization DAO. We're taking a community-first approach towards real estate tokenization, complex subject. And tonight we're having our second conversation about the tokenomics for the decentralized autonomous organization that we're creating. So over to you, Teresa.
Hi, my name is Teresa. I'm over in the East Coast with KW Commercial, Keller Williams Atlantic Shore. I'm a crypto certified agent with Proppy, and I am working with REtoken DAO to make this DAO organization one of the organizations to reference for tokenization of real estate. And I'm looking forward to getting some headway going on the tokenomics of REtoken DAO. And we'll go through and do 60-second introductions. I'll be the timekeeper. Please state your name and your interest in working with REtoken DAO and any experience that you have in tokenomics, creating tokens or cryptocurrencies. And we'll go down the list. We'll start with 1000 Mind. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Michael Thomas from Charlotte, North Carolina, outside. And can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Michael Thomas from Charlotte. Been a real estate student since about 1990, and I'm still studying it. And I have some plans to involve in real estate as it relates to creating wealth specifically. And I have a wealth objective. And so I'm coming on the tokenization part to learn more about the tokenization and how that can embellish my plan and objective to getting to the wealth dynamic of real estate.
All right, thank you. Next, Amelia. Amelia, please take 60 seconds to introduce yourself.
Hi, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Amy. You can call me Amy anyways. And I have been in the space for almost a month now, and I'm reading up on I'm doing research on the DAO and the tokenization of properties or projects, which could happen, and trying just to learn from this group and to participate in any way I can. And we do have a solar farm project in Mississippi, and it's ongoing. And at this point, it's already being presented to investors. And I just want to find different ways, to, I guess, in the future, find financing for future projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Amelia. Tyler, sorry, I didn't mean to skip you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tyler Yonker, AKA Mrs. Yonks, Jason's wife, and I am a former Politico, former private equity broker, super interested in making the real estate space more accessible, flatter, more transparent, more accessible to everybody who has been on the investment margins and wants a way in. So just really looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you. Elijah Day, my son. Elijah, please take a minute to introduce yourself to the group.
Hi, my name is Elijah Day. I'm experienced.
We can't hear you. I'm not sure if you have a bad connection. We'll come back to you, okay? Gary, would you like to take a minute to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Gary Stick. I'm a real estate agent in Honolulu with Keller Williams. I've been in the cryptocurrency space for about 6 months now, and I'm looking to integrate that with my real estate knowledge and streamline real estate services in general. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Elisha, are you ready? All right, we'll come back to him when he gets a better connection. Yeah.
Yeah, my experience with creating smart contracts.
Okay, we can't hear you, Elisha. You're gonna have to get to a better connection. I'll do an introduction for you until you can do that, okay? This is my son, Elisha. He programs in Solidity. You ready?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better.
Yeah, I just create websites and stuff.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Elisha Guy.
All right. Okay, we'll go Ryan Stokes, and then we'll come back to you, Elisha. Go ahead, Ryan.
All right, yeah.
You can borrow this because I'm using the earphone.
This is Ryan Stokes. I'm located in Durham, North Carolina, not far from you over there, Michael, in Charlotte. I'm a small incremental real estate developer. I have been in the know about Bitcoin and paying attention to it since 2009, and very interested in the ways that we can open access to some of these assets that are not typically available to different players.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Gary, Sid? Hi, Gary. Would you like to take a minute to introduce yourself to the group?
I thought I already went, but I'll go again. Hey everyone, I'm Gary. I'm a real estate agent in Honolulu with Keller Williams. I've been in the cryptocurrency space for about 6 months now, and I'm looking to learn a little bit more about REtoken and see how I can possibly help.
Okay, sorry, I didn't. Dylan? Eric, is that Eric?
Hello.
Hi, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dylan. I'm a software developer working at American Express right now. I've known about crypto for a while. I never invested in it in the early days, unfortunately, or else I'd be stinking rich. But anyways, here I am because I'm now very interested in it, learning a lot more about the technology. I started managing a scholarship in Axie Infinity last week with a collectible NFT game, if you're unaware. And yeah, I'm just really excited to learn more about this space.
All right, thank you for joining us for the meeting. Okay, so if you need a link to this document, Tokenomics, REtoken DAO, it is in the chat box. And we'll get started. If you can just give me a brief rundown of what we're going to be doing and how long we're going to be meeting. Is it for an hour or 2 hours?
Yeah, we've got 2 hours allocated, and it's the tokenomics. It's the second working group, and we started creating this document for our first tokenomics working group. And if somebody is watching this video later on YouTube, it'll be on the channel, and probably try to get that integrated within this YouTube video as well. So going through on that, so ideally, and here's some agenda that put in here as far as some bullet points, and ideally we would like to finalize on a social token that we will utilize for REtoken, and that's with the understanding that this token will be valueless and it will represent the fledgling community REtoken that we're creating here. And I actually did a tweet earlier tonight, and I'm going to go off on a little bit of a sidetrack here because it's somewhat relevant, because one of the things that we did earlier in the week was we had a conversation, and it'll probably be over here on tweets and replies. So this is Jess is the co-founder or the founder for Seed Club, and we actually had a conversation here because Teresa and I, and then some other people, we kind of went through and made a decision on if we as REtoken DAO would go through the Seed Club accelerator program or apply, because the reason that that was important from like a community standpoint is it does cost 3% of the social tokens. And this is a tokenomics conversation where we're looking to put social tokens in place. So, and again, one of the reasons that we expedited this, and before I finish, I wanted to share the tweet right here is, and this was a tweet that Jess sent: when starting a social token, most ask where, as in where should I mint my token? And I'll circle back to that later. And that was definitely a question that we asked as well. And then also what, and this is more some technical details as far as the token type. Most of the tokens are ERC20 tokens. And then in his question or on his tweet here, he asked the first and most important question to ask is why. So why are we looking to create a social token for REtoken DAO? So the main thing is means of governance. This will provide a mechanism that we can utilize to put proposals forward, is what they're called within the DAO world. And then the other thing is proof of contribution and proof of community. So we're wanting to create this community owned and operated dynamic here where we are learning and compiling content to help us become real estate tokenization experts. And what that'll look like will continue to ebb and flow over time as we move towards, getting first a solid foundation with some community framework here, and then starting to get some content and answer some of the questions that people are asking most, like via Clubhouse and what other channels that we're engaging with. So anyway, going over to the document that we've got here, this is a Google Docs that we created again for the tokenomics working group. So, and on those decisions we must make, and that kind of was one of those bullet points there as far as how many social tokens will we issue, and then like what framework that we utilize. And a good way to think of this is kind of like the software that we'll utilize to manage this community. And then over here, like when I started doing some more research between our tokenomics working group on Saturday and today, one of the things that kind of showed up on the radar was a social token platform. And I put some details in here on the social token platform as a precursor, because that is another opportunity that we have to make this process easier for ourselves. So before I go off and carry on the conversation, I wanted to see anybody that was participating in the conversation on Saturday, if you wanted to bring forward any research that you did. I know that Tyler started looking into the social token platforms a little bit, so I wanted to open it up right now for some additional people to share some thoughts of what they found out between Saturday and tonight's tokenomics working group conversation.
Well, I wanted to go ahead and share some things I learned. Can you stop it on the matrix? Thanks. So a couple of the platforms that Jason had pointed out to me to research were, I think it's called Fuse, Fuse or whatever, FYOOZ. They're based in Switzerland. It didn't sound like they were a great fit for what they're doing. They really wanted to sell celebrity NFTs. So if you want to connect with your favorite baseball player or rapper, whatever, then you could sell that. And they're also doing experiences, but it sounded much more one-on-one. One of the things that they had pointed out was you can bid on beer pong with Post Malone. So if we've got any posties in the group, then you could have an NFT for that. So sounded interesting, not really good fit for what we're doing. I also researched Roll, which was tryroll.com. This sounded potentially not as good as Coinvice, but a little bit closer to what we're doing. They issue in Ethereum, and they, from what I understand, this was pretty brief research. You can create social money. They issue it all in Ethereum. They can. It sounded like a Kickstarter fan base where people can support your project and you can pay them back for being your biggest fans. It's valueless currency with a potential secondary market, issues in Ethereum. And what we are trying to figure out is if they're if they're using Polygon, which I didn't have time to research, but they start with 2 million units. They issue 10 million total, and you start with 2 million as proof of social, and then they'll roll out the next part. They were a little unclear on their pricing. It said just try and transfer it out and we'll tell you what it costs, which made me a little bit nervous, but I don't know if that's because it's tied to the value of Ethereum or some other variable that wasn't super clear up front. That being said, Roll looked like a better situation than Fuse, because they're really, anybody can be a fan of anything, but it's designed for super fans. So that looked like, of those two, a much better solution. And then Jason, you're going to talk about Coinvice, which I thought might even be a little bit better solution than Roll. Go ahead.
I have some experience with Triroll. In my communications with them last year, they want you to submit to them basically like your marketing plan, how you plan to distribute your token to the community, what types of rewards you plan on offering, how you envision using your social money. And they also want a link where you are most social, like Twitter or whatever. And they communicate through email. And so basically they vet you before they onboard you onto their platform and decide if they want you to use their platform for creating your social token. Kevin referred them to me. He's not on the call today, but he's been on our previous call.
That's great info. Did you get a good vibe on them? Did they seem on point? Anything weird or negative, or was everything positive?
No, there was nothing negative. I just felt like it was a slow process. And for me, I was wanting to make a coin to use in Clubhouse for moderators. And he didn't really understand that. So it was hard for me to articulate that's my community. And like, I think they may look at, your Twitter or Instagram, or you got to show them, where your community is, where your numbers are, and how you're going to create value in the token. And with what I was proposing, there's like inherent value in what moderators bring to Clubhouse. It would, in my opinion, would create value. But that was hard for me to really get that across to someone who wasn't a Clubhouse user.
Sure. Well, thanks for that feedback. That's really valuable. One of the things that we were Jason and I were discussing briefly on this was trying to figure out if any of these platforms have a way to automate through a bot or whatever, some way to automate the proof of community. And this may be a question for you, Dylan, if you know, or I don't know if this is in your area of expertise or not, but we're just trying to figure out when there's, under 50 of us, it's fairly easy to keep track of who's contributing. When this community grows to hundreds, thousands, or more, having some way to automate proof of community so that we can issue these tokens and we don't have to do anything manually would be a big desirable feature.
Actually, I'm looking back at my messages with them. There wasn't really any issue with him understanding me. It looked like it just, I think the scheduling was just off, so it didn't really go anywhere.
Got it.
So I mean, role would probably be a good move forward. I wouldn't expect it to be a quick thing because I was in email with him for 3 weeks before we could even get the phone call back and forth regularly. So I wouldn't, if we want to do this quickly, I wouldn't say that would be the way to go. But we can certainly start down that process if we have time on our hands.
Yeah, it's great. Well, Jason had also researched Coinvice and thought it might be a little bit better fit than Roll. But Jason, if you want to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, and to bounce back to that other dynamic there, SourceCred is actually a tool that we can put for a talking point as far as a tool for communities to measure and reward value creation. So, and I think I've got that referenced over here in one of the appendix, but it's somewhere in this document already. So on that, and going back here, the Coinvice is what I think is probably the best solution right now. And this is, of course, if we're looking through the lens of trying to get this component so that we can move forward to win these. And I've got these over here. So this is the projects page. And I don't think I talked about that. I briefly talked a little bit earlier about the Gitcoin hackathons, and that's again why that we're increasing the priority on this. And this is also something that we were wanting to do anyway. So there's 2 projects over here. One is for Boardroom, and that's for this. Let's see which one this is right here. So this is Boardroom. So it's build and deploy a DAO. So we didn't necessarily have this one on our roadmap for wanting to do anyway. And then the one that we did over here was integrate Gnosis Safe into a DAO framework. So this is one that we were wanting to do anyway. And the big value of that, besides the little bit of purse that we would win, is really the social proof within the crypto community for our project. So, and that's again why that we're wanting to prioritize that. So going back to Coinvice, this is an article. Coinvice recently received $2.5 million in funding. I don't know a whole lot about them other than just a little bit of research that started doing today, but it does look like, and this is their homepage right here. And for those that want to take a look, I'll throw that in the Zoom chat real quick. And one of the other things too, and this is to circle back off onto a little bit of a tangent. So this is one of the tables that we prepared in the tokenomics working group. Over here was this table here, which is in the blockchain or social token platform. So that's the social token platforms matrix that Tyler was talking about. And this one over here is the snapshot.org. So this is a number that shows the various blockchain, underlying blockchain where these tokens are created that are providing the governance mechanism within Snapshot. Snapshot is a gasless off-chain solution that, and I'll just open it up in a window right here. So when we were looking at this the other day, this was, I believe, 1.39. So now there are more spaces, DAOs deployed on the Snapshot portal. So this is one of the things that if we decide to move forward tonight that we could potentially do if the process is pretty simple on the creating our social token, if that's something that we decide to do. So going back again to Coinvice, I did go through the process. I created my own profile. One of the projects that I was looking at here is this GCR. This is global coin research, and don't want to spend too much time on this project. I think I had a window open. Let me see if I can find that. So here was another project, Subsocial. That's one that is currently in testing. That's on Polkadot and Kusama. I'm going to minimize that. I think I have it on a minimized right here. So this is the FAQ page for tokenized community, and so they have and I actually hopped in their Discord. This is another good application of Discord. So they actually have, and speaking of Discord, this is so on this Discord here, this is actually the REtoken DAO Discord. Just created this Discord a couple days ago. So we have that on our Trello board, but just getting things set up over here. But the Global Coin Research GCR is a community, and I'm also a fan of not necessarily reinventing the wheel, if you will, on that. So that being said, that's one of the communities that's going to add to the list of researching. And to go back to the main topic of hand here is, and let me see if I can find what their page looks like on the Coinvice. So click over here, and I think that this will take it to the Coinvice page. So this is, again, one of the platforms, Coinvice, and let's look at the documents over here. So this is some of the followers and other people that are using Coinvice. It's a super early portal. So if that's something that we do decide to use, it looked pretty easy to create that. And let me see if I can find where their documents learn documentation. So this is another community that's using Notion. So mint a personal community token. So one of the reasons that Coinvice was also interesting, and I'm going to go back to our document over here, the reason that we had the Polygon highlighted here in green is because Polygon, one of the things that was important to us is to minimize the transaction costs of sending our social token from the DAO, the treasury, to a person for whatever proof of community or proof of contribution. Like one of the applications for the proof of community / proof of contribution. I mean, we've got nine participants tonight participating in this very important conversation of tokenomics. So let's say that participating in this tokenomics was that we agreed upon was a noteworthy event. We wanted to give out, 50 social tokens for participating, and I'm just making up numbers, but that's a proof of contribution or proof of community that we could award / incentivize people for, because like this tokenomics conversation isn't something that we're going to be having every day. This is like a very foundational. Now, could we potentially have a tokenomics 2.0 conversation 6 months or a year or 2 years from now? Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons that I think for the conversation of the tokenomics conversation, one of the benefits that we have right now is that we don't have a long established proof of contribution, like a lot of communities that have gone that have done their social token launch. I mean, Gitcoin, we've talked about a Gitcoin hackathon. Gitcoin is in the process of going from this centralized entity to this governed via this decentralized mechanism. So Gitcoin had a very big airdrop earlier this year, and it's a very different dynamic when you're accommodating. But anyway, so that's one of the benefits that we have of being early to this conversation, is it doesn't have to be very complex. And where that comes into play is like the social token distribution methodology. So like that's something that I noticed that there's more meat and potatoes in this section than there were when at the start of this. So and that's not something like that we have to finalize today, is the token distribution methodology, because again, with us being a brand new community, a brand new DAO, we might come out with a and it's definitely not a prerequisite for determining these other steps that we've got here, which is going back to the top of the list here. And the social how many social tokens that we will issue, like if we decide to go with Coinbase, that quantity isn't even something that we have to answer, because all of the Coinbase offerings are 10 million tokens. So that being said, I want to pause. I've done quite a bit of talking. Want to give other people the opportunity to interject, and I don't know if you want to facilitate that or if this is going to be too much questions right now, but did want to take a pause and let other people weigh in.
I just saw Roderick joined us. Roderick, if you wanted to take 60 seconds and introduce yourself and talk about your interest in real estate or tokenization or both, that'd be great.
Well, hello, Tyler. How you doing? How everyone else is doing? Roderick Wilson. Okay, let me get my bearings back together. What was your question again? Real estate. Been in real estate, flipping, doing flips, financing, wholesaling, just, you know, the whole real estate shindig. Been in that field for a while. Retired military. So when I got out of the military, real estate became my passion. Nearly while in the military, I was an IT specialist, so I deal with satellites, communications, and radio. So technology has always been my passion as well. So to be able to combine the two in tokenization is like what we would call a dream come true, to be able to do best of both worlds in one job. So I'm looking forward to the growth. I'm looking forward to the network, and I'm looking forward to the adventure.
That's awesome. And something that I really admire so much about you is you flew, what was it, 24 hours to get from Guam to Denver or something? Just amazing. No, if I ever had an excuse in my life for not making it somewhere, you took them all away. So it's something I just really admire about you.
Yeah, something like that is what I have to do tomorrow. I have to fly to St. Louis just to attend a meeting, and then turn around and fly right back to Atlanta. So yeah, that's kind of like a daily thing for me, I guess. I feel like is nothing can, you know, only God himself will stop me from accomplishing what I'm trying to accomplish. I won't let, you know, worldly things stop me from trying to achieve my goals. So
Love
I
it
go
so
where I
much.
gotta go.
Awesome. So does anybody else have questions or comments about social tokens, and or does anybody have specific experience with anything that we've talked about so far, or any other social token platforms that we didn't mention?
I will ask, we're particularly driving on the social tokens right now because we're trying to get into the mentorship program. Is that correct?
No, it's not because of that. It's because of the Gitcoin hackathon. So the opportunity to ride the momentum and really move this forward, like the Gnosis Safe is something that I think, without even bringing any developer skills into the conversation. So besides the purse of the Gitcoin hackathons, we get the social proof, which I think is even more important for getting momentum within the crypto space. So If it was just the Seed Club Accelerator program, I don't think that the priority would be there. It's more the Gitcoin hackathon and the opportunity to ride some momentum. And then I think also the other important component too is that we can really start getting some hands-on operational experience, because what I've gathered so far is that the majority of the people that are actively participating in these conversations right now, myself included, don't have DAO operational experience as far as participating in any DAOs, as far as, you know, setting up the smart contracts, or utilizing the proposals, or just any type of workflow. So I think the sooner that we can like be thoughtful about this, the less that we'll have to potentially do, so that we can move out of the foundational conversations and then more move towards actually creating stuff of value, like value added content and other tools that will really empower us to fulfill the vision and mission of our community. So one of the things that I just went through and did real quick here was updated some of the numbers. This August 24th, this isn't, this is the date, not actually the year. So this is August 21st, and this is August 24th. And this is just looking, this window over here is just going through, I'm actually logged in on the REtoken DAO MetaMask account, as well as the connected that to the snapshot org. So this was what it looks like right now, if we wanted to say, okay, well, create a space. So this is where, and this was one of the things that we completed during a previous working group. So we have the REtoken DAO.eth address, and there's I think some docs over here. Let me open this up in a, so this is kind of just going through spaces, and this is create a space. So this is just going through for actually setting up a space on Snapshot. So getting over here to this workflow here, where we select a network, and that's one of the things that I was just populating that table with these numbers. And again, this is a nice little breakdown as far as who's using what. And one of the desired reasons of why we don't want to do an Ethereum token is just the cost of sending the tokens from like the DAO wallet to a contributor wallet or something is much more expensive than like it would be on Binance Smart Chain or Polygon. So
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
Does the testnet exist to as a sandbox for like as you're trying out either your smart contracts or your DAO voting stuff? Is that what the testnet exists for? And is it's gasless, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, and I don't know what the real world mechanics look like as far as the test net versus, but yeah, it's the opportunity to, you know, deploy a smart contract without actually putting it into production. So me not being a developer, I can't really speak as far as what that would look like in practicality.
Okay. Just from like a debugging standpoint, or just testing the operation of whatever code you've written, you're not sure if you need to put it out on a test net, or if you, while you're developing, have a test server that's, you know, running whatever you want on your own system.
Right.
Gotcha.
So updated again, just put in some more numbers, and didn't really see the too much of a surprise as far as what those numbers look like. I don't even know what Phantom Opera is. So going back to the question at hand here was, I think on Coinvice, and I'm actually going to open up that in this space right here. So the question is, do we think that there's enough value to proceed? Because here's my thoughts. I think that there's enough value to proceed with the issuance of this, because this will move out of the conversation, the tokenomics, and it'll be easier. And I do think that there's some value in deploying on a social token platform. Coinvice is super new. I mean, they just recently got this that one article that I had up there and that I have referenced right here. Where was it? Yeah, and I'll put that in the chat
I just
too.
went through the process with Coinbase of trying to mint a token, and they have two options: a fixed supply where you mint 10 million ERC tokens, or a bonding curve where your first 1,000 tokens, that price is something, and then the second and third different ones. It increases in Ethereum, starting off with 0.05, and it wants you to put in a number for the slope. I'm not sure what that means. I put in 1, which was the minimum that it allowed, and so it wanted me to pay a gas fee of $348. So I think that either A, we complete some tasks on GitHub that will earn us Ethereum to cover these costs, or we need to figure out who's paying for the gas fees to mint.
Well, and I think that you're looking at minting an Ethereum token. Coinvice has the opportunity of doing, like, on the Matic network, switch to the Matic network. So
can you show me?
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely go through that right now. And I don't know if, what that even looks like. So this will be so I'm doing a screen share right now. I went through the process of just connecting the wallet. This is, again, the REtoken DAO. Here, let me cancel this. So this is the REtoken DAO MetaMask wallet. Sent over 0.25 Ethereum earlier in the month. And over here, there's this right here, this switch to Matic network. So have barely utilized this account for this MetaMask account for anything, and switching to the Matic network. And before I do that, let me actually go through this real quick, the documentation over here, because this was one of the things on the community token. So let's see. So right here, the side chain, if you're minting on a side chain, minting is free on our side chain operating on Matic network. Make sure your wallet is connected on Matic network. So that's, again, what I was going through and doing over here, is switch to Matic network. So approve, switch network. And let me refresh this. So it looks like it's got the little Matic sign here. 0 balance. And I don't know if we have to have any balance. So let's go back to this little document. Create social token. Well, I'm taking a screenshot of this right here, so apologies for framing this a little better. So is this what we're wanting to use, Teresa?
Do you need to put an LLC after there so the name is accurate?
I think that the Secretary of State will take care of the LLC. I'm gonna just put in REtoken DAO. And I don't even know if this is, oh, I gotta check this box. I'm gonna take a
Are we
screen.
doing fixed supply or bonding curve? What is the difference?
So I would rather just do a fixed supply. The bonding curve, I like keeping things simple. So I didn't understand what you were reading, and it sounds like that. So I would rather just do a simple dynamic. That's my thoughts. And again, if the thoughts on this, the predominating thoughts on this are, we're all learning together here, and we don't have, like, it's not like we've been building this community for 5 years and we're like, okay, well, let's just throw some stuff on and see where it's at. We're kind of like, hey, we've got multiple reasons to get a social token in place. Let's actually get it in place and then create something of value. So my expectations are that this social token won't be worth anything of value in the foreseeable future, and unless we deliver something spectacular, it will never be worth anything.
All right, click mint. Let's see what happens.
Okay, I'm taking my screenshot here real quick. I'll do it like right here. Minting token. Token minted successfully.
All right, now what? It worked.
We're rich.
Now what? Now the hard part. Now the hard part. So now the hard part is we actually have to create a community that's worth something. So
okay. Let's see, where do we go to see that?
Well,
how do we all how can we give ourselves $100, 100 tokens for sitting here today? To see how this works.
Well, there's two
claimable link?
options. Send tokens in bulk to addresses, and right now we're still in the so let me copy this because I don't know what this URL is here real quick.
So I assume to receive these tokens, we need a wallet that works on the Matic network.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't know enough about. So like my understanding is MetaMask supports a bunch of different and it's not really the Matic network. So Matic is just a layer two.
You would have to add the Matic network to your MetaMask. So what you did is when you clicked, you remember that box came up and it said approve? You have to approve every different blockchain. That's why MetaMask is great, because it allows you to add any blockchain as long as you have certain information. So you can add Ethereum, Binance, Matic, Phantom, all of them, and that way you can receive it all in the same wallet, but it won't show up unless you see at the top it says what network you're on. So it's saved on that network. So anything
because I didn't get that option.
It will only be on that Matic network and that Matic address. It won't be anywhere else in your wallet. Right, and so like I said before, we need a wallet that works with Matic. So if we have a cold wallet, software, whatever, we need to have it. It needs to work with Matic to take our token. Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the link, polygonscan.com. So this is the link where you can just view the REtoken DAO, because right here we have a token now on the Polygon network, and you can see right here token tracker. This is us. So let me post that in there. There's the link. So this is our contract address. Right here, contract address. So this is what we now need for snapshot. So going over here to create a space.
Can I ask you something? What can be done with that contract address? Because is that private, or should that be kept private?
No. So that contract address, I mean, we're on, like, here's a private window. I mean, so that contract address and that link that I just put in the Zoom chat is the contract address for our REtoken DAO, and that's the token name is REtoken DAO, and the seven character we're using all 7 characters. So our coin is REtoken, REtoken. So there's no liquidity, and that's one of the things that get discussed in the Coinvice document. So those that want to do a little bit more research on that you can just go to here to coinvice.co. You can go to learn, you can go to documentation. And I mean, you all saw how easy that was. I mean, like, I hadn't ever logged in prior to this call using the MetaMask REtoken DAO account. So literally, it cost us nothing, and we now have a Polygon token for our community. So again, it's not worth anything until we create something of value. And then the big thing that we need to decide is, and we don't need to decide that tonight. Like, one of the things that I would like to do here tonight is see if we can get our own snapshot set up, because the sooner that we get at utilizing some of these tools, and then we should also be able, assuming that Boardroom uses or is compatible with Polygon, then that means we can set up Boardroom to use Polygon. Now, that being said, there may be costs associated with that, and I don't want to, I think that there is value of going through the process, especially if we could receive the financial benefit of winning the Gitcoin hackathon for Boardroom. So anyway, we have successfully created 10 million tokens of REtoken. Congrats to everybody that participated tonight. That hard part is not even barely getting started yet. So that being said, so who's ready to continue on creating a snapshot space? Well, let me actually go ahead, Teresa.
I would have liked to test it. I would have liked to test to see how this works. Sending it and then moving on to the snapshot. But
well, yeah, and let's see here. Like, let me open up a window here. So here's my window. Let me go here to my Coinvice. Yonks. So switch to Matic Network. So those that haven't been through the process, I mean, literally, I had never been on coinvice.co prior to today. Super easy. I got my profile set up, and it was a very painless process. So and here, switch to the Matic network, and I think that that's where, like Gary was saying, that it goes through and it adds that to the network, and then approve, switch network. And I think that should be all that we would have to do. So from a procedure standpoint for our community, like that's maybe something that we could just have as far as like, hey, here's the onboarding process. Go through and create your coinvice.co profile, link up your MetaMask wallet, go through the process of switching to the Matic network, and then let us know what your address is, and then we can airdrop you some tokens for like whatever proof of contribution that you did or something. So, and that's where we can finalize what we want that to look like as far as distributing some tokens.
Also,
go ahead.
I was gonna say it's very important for us to denote like what is the original contract address, because there will be people instantaneously making copies of this, because that's what some people do. They look for new coins and then they'll make them and create pools. So that's another thing that I wouldn't want to happen with this token.
Yeah.
Explain that, Gary.
So here, let me just do this real quick. So I'll do a tweet on this, so we can just say we just minted REtoken via Coinvice. And I'll tag at REtoken DAO. Here is the official contract address. And is it still? No, it's in the Zoom. So to what Gary was saying there, Teresa, is that this is just like social proof that I just did there via Twitter. So like over here on the REtoken, so is that what you were saying, Gary?
Yeah, in the most part. It's just that a lot of people don't think that, oh, well, I'm just making this coin, no one's gonna see it. But there are a lot of scammers out there that will constantly make these coins and they'll put them on multiple exchanges. So people will see it and go, oh, I think this is what they were talking about. And it's on the Ethereum network. And then they'll pay for it on the Ethereum and it goes to that person. So I've seen it happen multiple times with a lot of different coins that I follow.
So how do you prevent that?
Just what he did, social proof. You just want an area where someone can verify that this is the original contract address, because you can't change that address. That address is always written, it's permanent. So if they see any other address that's different, then they know that it's not from Jason.
Yeah, and I retweeted that on. So a practical example here, Teresa, is here's CoinGecko. So one of the projects that I've spoken about several times is Lithium Finance. So Lithium Finance is just had their initial decentralized exchange off listing fairly recently. So like I actually acquired some lithium token, because that at the time it was only the only LITH. I knew that Lithium Finance was going to be LITH. I didn't really want Lithium token, but anyway, it's an interesting community for electric vehicles. I don't know if it's going to be a real thing or not, but they had some initial momentum just off of their ticker for their token LITH being the same for the Lithium Finance. Lithium Finance, for those that aren't familiar, it's a project that's actually very relevant to this, because it's potentially can solve the appraisal dynamic that's very problematic as far as real world assets are difficult to evaluate from an evaluation or appraisal standpoint. Anyway, a little bit of a sidetrack, but that's a personal example of as far as that. And like the social proof that just did there, this is like the official contract address that is now on my Twitter timeline, as well as REtoken DAO's forever timeline. And real quick, if anybody does love the social media stuff, that's absolutely an area of opportunity for a contribution that we, the community, has a need. Don't want to go off on that, but just plant that seed right now. So where to go from here? So we can go through, set up the snapshot space. We can talk more about like if we want to actually make a some token, distribute some of these tokens for like people participating in this conversation. We could do both things. We still have 50 minutes. I want to be respectful of everyone's time, but I personally would like to go through and set up the snapshot space, because one of the things that I was alluding to earlier that I thought would be very easy for us to complete is the Gitcoin hackathon for the implementing the Gnosis safe. So there is even a possibility, and I don't know if we necessarily need to go to that step tonight, but I would prefer to potentially put that as far as the next meeting conversation after we get snapshot set up, and then look at setting up snapshot with Gnosis safe, potentially boardroom. I'm going to take that offline and do some more research to better understand. And we could potentially put that at the back end of this while we've got some, you know, the MetaMask connected wallet here, and see what it might look like for going through some of those steps. Also, since we have Dylan on, that's got some developer chops. So anyway, I'm just thinking out loud here.
All right, let's move on to the snapshot. Can you go ahead and put the link, or so we can all be on the same?
Yeah, it won't look
Are
the
we
same,
able to
Teresa.
deploy it down?
Yeah, you can look at, you can go to snapshot.org, but it won't look the same, because this step that we're actually at right now, this was one of the things that we completed in a previous DAO working group, where, and that's kind of where we got to saying, hey, and that's right here, like this select network. So Polygon mainnet. So real quick, is that what we are agreeing to proceed with setting up the snapshot space here for REtoken DAO?
I'm trying to add it to my wallet. Do you remember? So it's just REtoken is the actual token symbol.
It is, but just keep in mind, I mean, we literally just minted that, like, and I don't know.
It worked instantly. I've created tokens on Binance, Stellar Network, Ethereum, just because I just wanted to see. As soon as you mint them, they're minted. You should be able to add them to a wallet. That's like the first.
Yeah, the contract address is this guy right here. And
I just wasn't sure what the token symbol was.
Yeah, no, it's REtoken.
Is it okay.
How do you find it?
Well, it's in MetaMask. For a lot of these coins, you add them custom. So when you go to add a custom asset, it asks for the token address, the token symbol, and then the token of precision, which is like the decimals that you're using. So usually it's always a standard 18. So I'm assuming since we didn't mess with that, it's going to be 18.
So are you though, like, so right here, are you looking at it through Ethereum? Because I've got the
yeah, so add token is what I did. So I went to add token,
yeah,
and then putting in the address, the token symbol. Correct. Bam. There you go.
yeah. So right there, it showed right up with the contract address. And here the little pull down is where you toggle it from Ethereum mainnet to Matic network.
So don't have Matic network as an option.
So if you go through that process, Teresa, like I just did over here on Coinvice, of creating your coinvice.co account using your MetaMask wallet, and then you click that little switch to Matic network, whatever happened there, the automagic stuff, the programming with Coinvice made it easy where the Matic network showed up.
I'm in Matic on my MetaMask, but when I go to the Coinvice, It won't let me. It won't let me do it.
Did you click on like the sign in option?
Yeah, I did.
I'm not sure.
It's my wallet is not as good as your wallet.
What are you trying to do?
Because it still shows Ethereum on mine.
No, you don't have to go to Coinbase to change the network. Everything that you need to do would just be in MetaMask. Coinbase and MetaMask are kind of separate in a sense. So the only reason I think we would have to use Coinbase is if he would be airdropping or actually sending the tokens to someone. Setting it up and adding it, all you're doing is adding it to your wallet so that you can receive the token. Because if he were to send...
it's working. I had to log out and log back in for it to work.
Okay, perfect.
It's working. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, so let's see. REtoken DAO about isn't required. For some reason this window's not scrolling for me.
Since this coin is valueless, are you going to allow people to actually purchase it, or will it be airdropped only?
Yeah, well, and that's one of the things I'm trying to curb any conversation mostly about the distribution to another window. I'm trying to stay focused right now here on the Gitcoin hackathon. So getting the other stuff like yeah, so I want to have those conversations, and we need to have those conversations, just trying to focus my mental resources on the more important stuff right now. I'm trying a different tab. This one, other window was being finicky. Okay, now I can scroll. That's so funny. Polygon mainnet. Token. So the strategy, and this is where Dylan, you were doing a little bit of research on the strategy, and this is like the smart contract, right?
Sorry, I was double muted. Yeah. Yeah, those, I think that's what you're asking. Yeah, those are for the smart contract. What is the topmost one?
Should we just
Isn't
do
that
that
the most
one?
common one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one. Yeah.
In 1.25K spaces.
Yeah.
Okay, so was somebody asking something?
For this token, for the governance, is it going to be decided by how many tokens you own as your voting rights?
And again, that's not something that we've decided. I would say probably, but I mean, there's different consensus mechanisms. And as you've already heard, I'm more of a fan of keeping it simple, but you know, the whole voting mechanism, and I'm more an experiential learner. I learn more by doing things hand-on instead of conceptualizing, and this is like us being very hands-on right here.
Well, this is what we're picking. Balance, the ERC20 balance of is a voting strategy that issues votes based on the amount of your token balance.
So is this where we reprogram it here? Like symbol would be like retoken?
Yeah, and then you put in your address and that's it.
And then the contract, and then the address down here?
Right.
Well, add, that looked pretty easy. Oh, shoot. I clicked off the thing and
Is that the right address? I don't believe it is, because the one you gave me has F94. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
4. You gotta, yeah, that, trust me, that's happened a million times.
Oh, that was
Good catch.
Teresa making a Hotep coin. I almost put the Hotep
I always wanted to
coin.
make a Hotep coin, so like for the past since 2017, I wanted to make a Hotep coin. So
Do you have your Hotep coin now, Teresa?
I have my Hotep coin now.
Awesome.
I don't know what that is gonna do for me though. So
Well, and that's why that this so right here, I don't think that we need to do anything else. I'm going to add myself as a admin, and if you want Teresa to your MetaMask wallet that you're wanting to use, I can put you in there so we can start looking around. There's not any tokens in the snapshot, so whatever admin capabilities, the tokens right now are all in the MetaMask wallet. So
Wait, so you have a developer wallet?
when you say have a developer wallet,
Meaning that all the coins are held in one issuance account? Because I remember when you first added, I was confused. I didn't see it go to any account. Like usually when I minted a coin, I had to always create 2 accounts. So it was the issuance account, and then I had to create a distribution account, which would be the account that people would actually take the coin from, where most of the transactions would be made. But
well,
I never.
And that might be a different dynamic with some other minting methodology. Like keep in mind, this is literally the first time that I've ever created a coin here. So and this was done using Coinvice. So there wasn't any there wasn't any mechanism. I mean, you saw everything that I did.
I'm asking just, it's for all of our knowledge, just because it's good to know if the coins are actually held somewhere or if they're abstract. That's what I was wondering. I thought social coins might be different, where they're minted, but they're not necessarily held in any account. When I minted the coins, they were value technically. So that's why I don't know if it's different between a social coin and what you're doing. So I'm learning as with you.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't know either. I mean, you know, and that might be just a distribution methodology. It to me, that sounds like it adds an additional layer of complexity, having 2 accounts to functionally facilitate the same thing if you don't need a distribution account. So I added myself. Is this your MetaMask wallet here, Teresa? The 5 Alpha 1 Echo?
I don't know. That's what's underneath my picture on Coinbase. Does that mean that's my MetaMask wallet?
Yeah, let me, I guess I can look over here in Etherscan.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Do you have anything in your wallet, or is it just an empty wallet right now?
Ain't nothing in there.
Okay. Is this the address that you want me to put in for admin on Snapshot?
I guess, yeah, until I change it, because I don't know what I'm doing. Well, not that, but I'm not organized in regards to which wallet to use. I have about 4 or 5 of them, but yeah, there's no pecking order on them.
Let me look and see here if this has. So the admins will be able to edit the space settings and moderate proposals. And I don't know if the members, if this is a manual thing, or if that happens automatically as far as, and I don't know, anyway. So I guess for now I'll put it on, and I don't know if we need to have it. What I was trying to find here was if we needed, if the admins had the same capability as members, or if we needed to put admins on the same line as members.
Sure.
And there's this radio button right here, allow only members to submit a proposal. Well, I don't know if we need anything else here. Let's click on save. Did you want me to use, it's got an avatar here, Teresa. Did you want me to use that one that made from the other day?
Yes, until we get another one, I think that would be a good idea. Will it allow you to update it?
I would surely hope so.
Okay.
I think I've got that saved already.
What a relief. We have a token and we know how to make them for free.
Well, it looks like that this already uploaded it to IPFS. So anyway.
You want to copy and paste something in the about real quick?
Yeah, let me just do something. We are a community first. A community first approach to the complex subject of real estate tokenization. Your settings is in. Let's see if it if we show up on the main page of Snapshot now.
I added some verbiage you might want to use in the
Hey,
chat.
look at this. We're on. REtoken is on Snapshot. Look at that.
Yay! Progress.
I know. All right, look everybody, REtoken DAO I think is live on Snapshot.
There it is.
I sent you some verbiage for the about in the chat. I don't know if you got it.
Yep.
All right.
Congratulations, we learned something today.
Yeah, so here's what it looks like too. We've got the admins and the members, which is Teresa and I right now.
Have we trademarked the word REtoken DAO yet?
No.
And
it's on
did
the
we
Trello
buy
board as
the website for that? Because people will be selling it to you guys if you don't buy it now.
We do have a couple
no,
of the REtoken domains. One that has been on the list that still contemplating acquiring is REtoken.club. I think that's like a super affordable domain. But right now, I think the biggest thing that we need to do is try to take advantage of this Gitcoin hackathon. I mean, getting our space set up here on Snapshot is just more milestones that we can mark off, and we still have a half an hour here tonight during our working group. So like, I don't know if we really wanted to start having some conversations about the Gnosis Safe integration with Snapshot, but I mean that's an open bounty that we have on the Gitcoin hackathon.
All right, so
just
did
quick
we complete what
introduction.
we needed to do?
I just
Go ahead, Roderick.
I just want to do a quick little interjection on, she made a huge point on the fact that we need to ensure that we keep our name. So if we could, trademark the REtoken name so we don't lose our name, even though we have the domain, which is good, we keep the domain. We just need to try to put that at the top of the list. Branding, I'm big on branding. So branding is key, and REtoken is our brand. So we really need to put.
I am too. I'm big in branding.
Can you go?
That's how you
Can
grow.
you go to that on the Trello card?
Yeah, I'm at. Oh, it's right here actually. We've got a trademarks. Let's see. Came up during our tokenomics working group #2 to explore REtoken TM, and we will put that in there. And I don't know, does somebody want to take some ownership as far as doing a TM research? I don't know. Tyler and I have went through the process a little bit. I definitely agree that that's something that we should put. It's more based upon my own experience trademarking something. It's a process and it's a cost. And right now, I think that the biggest thing that we need to do is focus on delivering value in various means of stuff. So going back to this, does somebody want to take the ownership item, and I'll just assign you to this project card on Trello?
I can take a look at it. One of the things that, to everybody's concern, the fact that we're already out there with REtoken.info and REtoken, and we're branding ourselves as REtoken, means we were in the market first. So if somebody else tries to trademark it out from under us, they'd have to prove that they were using it in commerce before we were on the website. So yeah, I will look into what it would take to get that trademark formally, but that's what you have to do to get a trademark, is prove that you were the first one using it in commerce. And since our website's already up, using REtoken, and we've been out there, and we should be in the internet cash. That should give us a pretty good head start.
The main thing is we need to pay for it. Who's paying for it?
Well, and I don't think that we need to finalize that. Let's do some research on that. And I mean, it's like $500 to $1,000 to get something trademarked as far as getting that ball rolling. What's that?
It's more like $200 to $300. It's not what you're saying.
Well, I mean, either way, it's something that I think that we all agree needs to be done. And we've got the card out there, and we can add that to an agenda item. I would prefer to stay on course right now for the DAO and the tokenomics, and see what else that we need to do to move this conversation forward as far as the whether it's more snapshot stuff. I mean, and we've got like one of the things here we talked about potentially providing the participants here a reward, some REtoken tokens, coins. So, like that's something, if everybody wanted to provide their Matic address, then that's something that we could decide upon, or if we wanted to talk about that here today, because then that would provide some additional members that we could add to the snapshot from a governance standpoint, where we could actually start getting some experience using our snapshot DAO.
You can put me down, Jason, on ownership of the trademark.
Okay.
I would like to request who will be contributing to the cost of the trademark, and please provide me with your email address and phone number so that I can follow up with you.
Well, Miss Teresa, you already have my information, so I'll support you in the trademark.
Okay.
I think you have my info too. I think this is very important since we are in the forefront of it, because if somebody snapped that name, we're gone.
Not to throw you off the agenda, Jason. We want to make sure we good. So we back on the agenda. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't see plenty of people get their name stolen. So I just want to make sure we good. I thought that was already done, but now we're going to fix it. And now we can continue on with making sure we stay on task.
Awesome. Thanks everybody. And I'll let you drive that conversation here over the next week, Teresa. So appreciate everybody for that, because I do agree. And like one of the things that I really believe as far as what we can create here is, I believe that like REtoken could be a go-to brand. And I think that that's one of the awesome things about not aligning ourselves with the technology, is that we can focus on delivering the solution. And it's not just the tokenization solution, because that's just one aspect. That in my opinion, that process really starts when the token, or some of it starts, when the tokenization occurs, but maintaining a solid brand so that people can have the trust and the confidence, like if they're going to invest in a REtoken security, real estate security token, that's something that they can have a higher degree of confidence, is due to processes that we're going to put in place for getting the token issued, and then making sure that that property is an income producing machine perpetually. So anyway, I'm glad that that's something that everybody is being cognizant about, because I'm really confident that we can create a lot of value for this community here as well. So anyway, going back to the Gitcoin hackathon. So one of the things too, and I don't know if we want to put this on the main Trello board, or I guess it doesn't necessarily really matter. But do we want to talk about getting some of these REtoken coins in the hands of our members for the tokenomics participation, or do we want to have a tokenomics distribution conversation down the road? What is everybody's thoughts right now?
real quick, I put my 2 cents in. I feel like how we stated, the owners of the tokens give the voice. That basically, because you're the majority owner, so that's how I look at it. So those are the ones should be giving the votes and giving the voices.
Yeah, and I agree. And until we get some tokens in somebody's hands, and I would prefer like taking a more reserved approach, because again, we've got a super simple dynamic here. But anyway, somebody was getting ready to chime in, so sorry for cutting you off there.
Yes, I was just reading up on the DAO info, and it says in that material that I've read, I've researched that everybody it's a decentralized autonomous organization. So everybody has a say on decision making, and that there is no hierarchy or anything like that. So we are all equal under the DAO. That's the way I read it. So if I'm wrong, just let me know.
Yeah, so that is based upon whatever type of governance mechanism that you have in place. So the most simple governance mechanism. So the process that we just went through here, Amy, is we minted 10 million REtoken on Polygon to represent, and the expectation is that those are valueless. So nobody has any tokens except for the issuing address. So that being said, if we have just a simple methodology where it's based upon a weighting, so like let's say Teresa has 1,000 tokens and I have 1,000 tokens, and everybody that's on this call right now has 1,000 tokens, then at that point in time, all of our votes would be equal. But like, let's say we have an opportunity to participate in the next working group, and let's say that for participation in that next working group, it's 100 tokens. And let's say that, Amy, you're not on that next working group. So everybody else, if everybody else is in participation, everybody else would get 100 tokens. And Amy, since you decided that you had other priorities, so you wouldn't have as much. So your vote would be 100 less tokens in proportion to everybody else's vote. And then you can see what that can look like over time. It's a means of providing some type of mechanism for having more of a weighted vote. And if that's something that we need to change down the road, like we come to some, like, fast forward 6 months or 12 months or 18 months, we're like, okay, well, this isn't working out, we don't have enough people voting, whatever the case may be, then that maybe we need to say, okay, well, we need to look at potentially doing changing the voting, or devising some method for getting more participation in the vote, or and that's kind of like an ongoing conversation, in my opinion, that we'll look at. So does that kind of help to paint a more thorough picture, Amy, on that topic?
Yes, in some ways. You should also consider financial contribution, because like if we are trying to get this trademark going and we post it out there, like if there's 20 of us, if we can make $100 contribution, we can get this done. If only 10 people did the contribution, however much money, it has to be divided by 10 people that agreed to get this done, then those 10 people should have a certain amount of voting rights attached to it. Like what you said, it's also in participation, and it's also should be in financial contribution.
Agree completely. And we will definitely have ongoing and more conversations about that. So and some of that comes in here. So social token distribution methodology, and that was the 4th decision. And really, that's a decision that needs to be an ongoing mechanism. And like one of the tools that came up here was sourcecred.io, and like just looking here at their page, this is a tool for communities to measure and reward value creation. So that's a tool that we may look at deploying to make some of this a more automated mechanism for that topic. And like at the end of the day, we still haven't decided upon what we want this community to look like. And I think that that's, you know, us doing more research as far as, and then just coming again to an agreement and like what it looks like to be a member of REtoken DAO like next month may be a very different dynamic than it looks like 6 months from now. So I do agree and definitely want to have more conversations. And one of my favorite things to use in those conversations is the idea of a value ladder. And this is for those that aren't familiar with that idea, it's a good way to like look at providing more value at a certain price point. Like maybe you have a free, like I definitely don't want all of our content to be behind a paywall, but I do know that the content that we're going to be creating is going to be something that people will find of value and that they will want to pay for. And like Teresa has, I think, a higher appreciation for that when she went through the Proppy Crypto Certified Agent Program, and the opportunity for us to potentially develop some type of even higher caliber curriculum, especially on like the appraisal topic. Like we've got that, and I don't have that book. I think Tyler's got it over there, but that academic level book that is talking about valuing fractionalized real estate. So because like potentially us that want to develop more of a core knowledge surrounding that might be an opportunity for us to create some value. Or maybe real estate professionals that really see the opportunity with becoming tokenization experts. Like one of the things that I was talking to Teresa about the other day is us, the REtoken community, developing courseware or presentation materials that make it easy for an aspiring real estate tokenization professional to plug in, and then them utilizing our materials to, you know, position themselves locally as their own local real estate tokenization expert. And that might be a higher value of ladder that we provide, that it takes more effort for us to create and support the content around. So we should be able to drive a higher price for that value ladder. So, and that's something I don't want to, again, spend too much time talking about the value ladder conversation. And that's something that I hope everybody will leave or go away from here, so that when we regroup and start digging more in and just perpetually be thinking about like, how can I provide more value? Like in the celebration of life event that Tyler and I are going to be going to this weekend, my uncle that passed recently, that this is his celebration of life. He was a pioneer in the NASCAR racing stock community. And like, I came across a crypto project where they're combining race cars and NFTs and collectibles and gaming, where I was talking to Tyler. I was like, hey, here's a unique opportunity, you know, to catch up with some family, that there's probably going to be lots of talk about my uncle's contributions to the pioneering space. And that's like me just thinking about something that is of interest to me, but it's also something that I could easily see of interest to my family. So be thinking of the value ladder conversations. We'll be going back to those. So anyway, going back to the tokenomics here. So we do have a few more minutes remaining. I think one of the things that we tossed around the idea of distributing some social tokens here for the participation in the tokenomics. I personally think that would be an easy thing that we could agree upon here, and that might be like a mechanism that we can utilize for doing some votes and getting some real world operational experience. So I personally vote that we do 100 tokens, 50 for the first tokenomics work group, and then 50 for the second tokenomics work group. So the people that participated in both, they would get airdropped 100 tokens. And then the people that participated in one or the other, they would get 50. And then that would create at least some initial where we can start getting some operational experience as a founding team here on this platform and with our new social tokens. So does anybody else want to weigh in on that? I mean, is there any objections to that? Does everybody like that idea?
I have no objections to that.
I second that.
So let me actually create a section here in this. So airdrop. Look at this. We've got retokens. Airdrop retokens for participation in tokenomics working group number 1 and number 2. 50 retoken 50. I'll just do 50. So and that I'll reach out to the people that participated here, and let's see, let me add this one too. Obtain wallet addresses for working group.
Do we have to set up our Coinbase account in order to receive the drop, or how do you?
I don't believe so. I think
Okay.
I think that it should work, and if somebody wants to, that should be optional. The thing that you would have to add in order to see the tokens in your MetaMask, I think that'll be the easiest, is the what's it called? The contract address for what's it called? And I just got Ryan's here. If everybody could, well, let's see. I'm trying to think of what would be the best way to do this. I'll send an email out, and if people could reply in that, or I don't know, maybe I'll make a Google sheet. I'll figure it out. So I appreciate you sending that to me, Ryan, but I'm trying to figure out an easy way to get everybody's addresses in a manner that, because I don't want to go through the effort to do that right now, because I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So the other opportunity that we have here is to, again, move the Gitcoin hackathon forward. I'm going to spend some efforts. And then another thing to think about is, because I would like to potentially do a working group, another working group, maybe on Thursday. And I'm just thinking out loud here because I don't know what my calendar looks like on Thursday. Because I would actually like to see if we could get the Gnosis safe online with and let me, that's actually this one right here. Integrate Gnosis safe into a DAO framework. So going back to this prizes over here. So one of the things over here, and I'm going to filter it on Gnosis, and well, on all. So the difficulty level over here, for those people, because I know that we had a decent amount over here, and this is some of the people that on our previous working group when we went through and created our GitHub accounts. And looking at the difficulty level, some of these are beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And the one that we're looking at right here that I'm talking about right now is the integrate Gnosis safe into a DAO framework. And this is the one that we already have an existing project on. And I don't even think that we're going to need developer talent to complete this one. And that's one that I think that we can and should do a working group on. The thing that we need to determine is who wants to be the Gnosis safe. So the way that works is it's a multi-sig type of a framework. And this is conceptually my understanding of it, is that it's a multi-step dynamic, is that where we use Snapshot to put a proposal forward, and then we as voting members say yay, nay, and then it moves forward. And if it says yay, then that kicks off a separate process, which is the multi-sig. And then that's where the human element comes into play. And I think that there is some capability to have some type of multi-sig contract that executes. And again, that's something that we can look at. But my thoughts are I'm available. So going to be traveling for family this weekend. I'm available on Thursday, and with the efforts of moving this forward, and again, just trying to get this one knocked out, I would like to potentially move this forward on Thursday, and I'll reach out to some people offline as far as we've had in the past some initial conversations as far as the Gnosis safe. If everybody would like to be in that conversation, that you're welcome to potentially participate, and we don't want it to be too much. And I think that there are some costs associated with the Ethereum for doing the initial setup for that. But my understanding is once that's set up, the ongoing costs should be minimal, and the costs I think are to set up the Gnosis safe. So, and that's kind of me rambling a little bit, but again, I'm open for Thursday, and again, I'm going to reach out to some people. If somebody's interested in that, reach out to me via some DM offline. And wanting to be respectful here of everybody's time, wanted to open it up to if there was any final closing thoughts. Super excited. We got our social token, REtoken, created on Polygon with our contract address. So that's a phenomenal mile marker, but wanted to open it up before we conclude the recording. And I don't have a hard stop after recording, just wanting to be, again, respectful of everyone's time. So before we conclude the recording, I'm going to allow it to be opened up for any final thoughts. And on that too, make sure while I'm opening it up, I'm gonna see on the next actions. I've got a couple here, and this is where that I'll make sure that we get those next actions itemized that come up here that haven't been captured so far. So I'm done talking. It's open for other people to chime in now.
Before we conclude, what you were saying you wanted to accomplish with the snapshot, was that done?
A little bit. So let me go back to that snapshot window here. So the other thing that we need is we need to get some of our initial members in here, and we need to get some of our tokens distributed. When we do that, then we'll actually be able to go through and start utilizing snapshot for proposals and other stuff, and really get some understanding on that. So what I'm going to do here, and I was thinking through on what I wanted this to look like. I'm just going to make a table here so that got it in an easy place.
So I'm not really sure what's going on with snapshot and what needs to be done to offer any commentary on that. In regards to the GitHub, where are we at on GitHub?
So where we're at on that is I would like to take the conversation offline as far as the people with the Gnosis safe, and then I believe that we can do the Gnosis safe project ourselves without actually getting any developer talent on. So there's two things: a working group where we can go through the process of setting up the Gnosis safe. My vote on that right now, without looking at my calendar, is Thursday evening, or potentially, I would rather do it Thursday. We've got a pretty full calendar tomorrow evening. So it's, and then the other thing too, Teresa, is I think the opportunity for us to create some type of pitch video to describe our project. And I tried doing that a little bit with Seed Cloud Gitcoin video the other day, but that definitely wasn't a polished project or execution.
Can you go back to the Trello card on trademarks really quickly before we end?
Yeah.
I popped a link in there with instructions for Roderick and Amelia as they're supporting me in this. And I just want to make sure that other people can access it besides myself, because it's a Google Doc.
It looks like it triggers a request access. So I just requested
Let me
it there.
see if I get it. No. No. I don't know how to get y'all to see that. Let me try another way.
So it's kind of funny. I was just looking at this real quick. It's like Zodiac hasn't been announced. We wanted to give you a sneak peek, but don't shout about it on Twitter just yet. I don't know what that means, but and there's a Venus test space for testing. They even have like a little wimpy arm muscle over here. That's fabulous. So, and again, this one is 1,000 each to each of our 3 favorite integrations. So it's basically a judging dynamic of whichever one that they like the best. So here's an opportunity for, again, our project REtoken DAO to get some social proof. And I think it's hard or impossible to potentially put how valuable that could be to get momentum going into our project. And you start getting some momentum in the crypto space, and the momentum can be pretty parabolic.
For those that want to stay on with the trademark, if there is any, I'm willing to stay on for another 15 minutes to review the USPTO process. You'll have to send the screen share over to me, Jason, because I don't have permission to share this document with anyone. So I would have to like go through it. Do you guys agree to hang on to go through that? It's okay if we extend the meeting?
I can hang on.
Okay. Can you hand over screen share with me, Jason, if you're finished?
Yeah. So, are we done recording, or you want me to stop the recording now?
No, you can keep going.
Okay. Let me get Ryan. Wait, this was. And that was your wallet address, right? The 5 Echo Foxtrot, Ryan.
Yeah, give me a second. Let me verify that real quick. Sorry. Yep, that's me.
Okay, cool. And I'm going to go ahead and add you as an admin here too, Ryan. Let me see how I can.
Hey, Jace, do you remember how much it was in gas fees you had to pay to register your ENS?
It just fluctuates based upon your time of day that you're doing it. So, I mean, it
Okay.
just depends when the network's busy or when it's not busy. And I've normally found that after US hours from like, 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. is normally the least expensive, but that's again, just.
I think I looked at it last time I looked at it, was like 75 way or something like that. I didn't know. Is it how many transactions did you have to do? Do you remember?
It depends if you go through setting the reverse, and it's so one of the other things, and so, sorry, real quick, I was just wanting to put this out there, is that we should come up with some terms for our token terms, and I'm not going to put that as like a super high priority, but it's just better housekeeping. And I think I've came across some legalese, but anyway, I was wanting to get you added here as an admin, Ryan, and as a member. And let me throw in this, Teresa had a. Maximum length 160. So yeah, it doesn't look like changing any of this stuff requires any transaction cost there. And then I think that let me look at it in this yes, and this is my profile over here on, what's this called, 3Box Labs. I think that this pulls in from there, like right here. This name is from 3box.io. So anyway, let me stop my share. I'm going to hand it over to you, Teresa.
All right. It says host disabled participant sharing. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Let's see if this works. Screen too. I'm going to share my whole screen here. All right. Can y'all see good at the top of your screen?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So we have to, I'll start from the beginning. This is the trademark process. So when we go to the trademark website, we'll have to do the electronic application system, PEAS is what we'll be choosing. The form to apply online. We'll need access to the organization's email address. Moving through there, we'll need the owner of the mark. So we'll put the LLC name in there and address. And we'll need to determine which website domain we want attached to it. It does help with SEO if it is registered with the PTO office. Google does back check PTOs with businesses with their domain address with the PTO, put it that way, for ranking. We need to determine uppercase, lowercase, if we're going with REtoken DAO, REtoken DAO LLC, and make sure that everything stays consistent throughout the course of the organization. You cannot leave off LLC if it is included as the corporate name in your marketing and branding. Everything must be consistent and stay the same. So we need to make a decision on what we're using. I suggest we use what was already registered and not modify it under any circumstances or any application. So then we need to choose our goods and services. And we need to search for our class, which is important in business registration. I'm not sure what class it was registered with in Wyoming, but we should keep it consistent. The international class that we're going to register under, we have to pay $275 per class if that fee hasn't changed. And once we get that out the way, we need to fill out contact information. Who's going to be the main person for contact and what information we're going to provide there. And
Kwame was my wingman at the senior steps though, and stepped off with Anna's heart. In another life, this could be my way.
If I'm registering, hello? Who is that?
Ryan, could you please mute your line?
Sorry about
Okay. We'll need to determine who has signatory rights. So Jason will need to add me a signatory rights for me to execute this document for the corporation. We'll need to agree with the terms and access the email and pay. I dropped a link in the Trello that will take you to the search classifications where we need to determine our classification of our goods and services. That's the biggest part, I think, after the signatory and information and determining exactly how we're trademarking. Any questions? Is it just me here? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
So if you all can kind of look through here and see what classification we're going to choose. And Jason, if you can let me know what you chose with the state for classification. I can't remember what was on the IRS filing or and I don't know what was on the state filing.
Thing that we need to make sure is to get a trademark, you have to prove that you're using the mark in commerce right now. You can't trademark it in advance. So one of the things that we need to make sure that our website is robust enough that we don't get dinged on not having a real use in commerce because we're not selling anything. So even if we haven't sold anything, if we have something that's ready to sell, then we're using it in commerce. So that was something that Jason and I got dinged on another trademark that we were trying to do for a different project. They said that we weren't using it in commerce, so they denied our application.
What did they base that off of?
That was what it was just some general denial, and I don't know if that was
the
from
name
our.
that you submitted was the name of the website and the name that's registered with the Secretary of State, or did you make a modification?
No, it wasn't that we weren't trademarking a name. We were trademarking a logo that we were using on one of our businesses, and just trademarking the name of a business may be different, but I'm not sure. It's just something to keep in mind. I want to make sure that we have everything done in advance so that we get it on the first try. We don't have to go back and forth.
Okay, you can do that. I'm not sure what it is that you're saying that we need to do. You can just let me know when it's complete before I submit.
Okay, that sounds good. Was there more to this? It looks like we're in the middle of your scroll bar, so if you wanted to keep going on that.
No, I'm done.
Okay, great.
Unless anybody has any questions, we just need the money to pay for it. As far as I know, the name, email address, and signatory rights. I need to make sure that I have that, and then I'm good to go.
Well, do we have a way to vote on that? Do we want to do like 10 of us for $27 or whatever?
Okay.
I think if there's anybody that would like to participate in getting the financial together, just say so, and then we can divide whatever amount is, and then we can Venmo, Cash App somebody. I guess that's the best thing. Or PayPal somebody to get it done. I think we have 21 people in here.
The things I was thinking about is I'm sure the money won't be a problem. What I'm just trying to figure out is from an open ledger standpoint, Venmo and stuff is usually fine, but I was trying to figure out if there's a way that we can do this on the blockchain. So what we're doing, it's all there and open, and there's no question about who paid what and whatever. And that we set ourselves up for the right framework so that as people are contributing, that's all on the record. I don't know if we have a tool that's ready to do that yet. If we don't, I
Yeah,
mean, we could
you
use
have to
Venmo
teach us because we're not familiar with it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I just want to make sure is as we're trying to move everything to the blockchain, that everything we can do there, that we do there. If we absolutely can't figure out a way, or it's not legal to do it some way, then we can use that as as like a last resort. But my ideal situation would be everything happens on the ledger, so it's all transparent and it's all there. It just kind of cements what we're doing.
If somebody can figure that out, then let us know so we can participate.
Yeah, we'll work on that. Okay, did anybody have anything else before we wrap things up?
So, how will we come to a decision on what class we are? I think is a part of how we're defining who we are, and I don't think that we have done that yet. And so, how will I know when we've made a decision on what services we're providing so that we choose the correct classification? Is it education? What are we doing?
I don't know enough, Teresa, about trademark classes to be able to speak on that with any degree of intelligence. And I think that that's where trademark attorneys that specialize in that sort of thing, because I don't think that it's education that we need to be concerned about, because I think that those classes are more geared to somebody conducting business in those classes.
Well, yeah, the whole point of having a trademark would be to shut down somebody who is trying to do the same service that we're doing with our audience. So we just need to figure out what the most valuable thing we're gonna do and charge people for is, and then that's what we need to protect.
So how will we know when we come to a consensus on what that is? Is everybody going to go through here and pick a class and put in the Trello board their suggestions, and then we maybe ask for some advice and make a decision from there, or am I having to make that decision?
Well, my thoughts, and I know that people want to create like a trademark to protect stuff, but right now we're talking about spinning cycles, and we still don't have anything created that's worth protecting. So I'm more interested in spending resources like creating content that we can point people to when we're having clubhouse conversations that say, hey, you want to learn about real estate tokenization, watch our YouTube video or read our white paper so that you can understand. So that's kind of where I'm at. I would rather spend time to get a white paper developed, but anyway, I will go back. I was just looking because I think that and somebody, I think it was Gary that was talking about that we needed some address, and I don't know if we haven't distributed the tokens, these REtoken tokens, to an address yet. Let me see if they show up in
Well, I don't think that because you don't think it's important that we shouldn't do it. I think we've already made a decision that we are going to do it. So
I don't think
if you could help us get through the
No,
decision-making process.
it's not that I don't think it's important, Teresa. It's that it's I think it's a little premature. So but anyway, it's important.
No,
but
that's what I mean. I mean, do it right now, because the group has felt that it's not premature and that the time is now to execute on something like this. And from what I understand, we made the decision that we're going to do it.
right,
so
but we don't need to spend cycles right now hashing out classes, because I don't know what any of these are, and we haven't even defined what services that we're providing yet. So
okay, will we be defining that anytime in the near future?
I would rather spend cycles talking about like what we're going to be creating and providing for sure. Because
Okay.
until we do that, we won't have a trademark that'll be ever worth anything.
I would like to propose that we schedule a meeting to talk about what REtoken DAO will be doing.
Okay, and like, is that the monetization conversation?
Sure, we can.
I mean,
include that.
because we're right now, what we're doing is we're hosting.
If that's what it's going to be doing.
Well, I mean, there's lots of things. I mean, we're talking about doing a podcast too. So, you know, like creating content and a podcast, and I don't know where any of those items fall within these classes that you're talking about, though.
Well,
because I think that like
podcast doesn't have to be something that's of the corporation.
I think, Teresa, if you can send me a link on that, I can review that for our next meeting. And then I can probably make a contribution or comment on, you know, what you all are talking about. So I'd appreciate
When
that.
you said thank you, that, are you referring to the Trello note?
Yeah, the trademark classes. I see that you were scrolling on it, but if you can send me a link that I can review it, I'd appreciate that.
Sure. Can you see my screen share?
Yeah, I can see it. Yes.
It's this link right here.
Okay. I'll take a picture of it. So how can I
If
click?
you go, when you do you know how to get to this in the Trello board?
I can try. I'll try it, and then if I have questions, I will let you know.
Who's that? So when you log into the Trello, you got to scroll over. This is good because I want to make sure everyone can access the information. So, well, I don't know where it is, so this is how I'm going to look for it. I'm going to type in trademark, and then it's going to pop it up, and I'm going to click it. And the first link is to the trademark website, and the second one is for the search of the classification. And let me make sure that I have you added in here. What's your, that's you, right?
That's me.
Amy?
Uh-huh.
Okay, check mark. It says you're added in here, so you should be able to view this. And I'm just putting some of the ones in here that I think that we should be well versed in what they are. But someone else might spot something else. But I'm thinking that it would probably be one of these. And if we're going to do two classes, then we'll have to raise more money. If we're going to do 3, then, you know, we'll need to raise enough to cover the classes that the organization will cover. But I don't think it's a good idea to just say we're going to do any and everything under the organization and we're not going to really know what we're doing until later, whenever the opportunity arises, and not be clear on the boundaries of who we are and where we begin and end as an organization.
I think the main thing is this set in stone once you make an application, or can you make an edit on it in the future? I was just wondering. Because it seems like
I don't know.
Since we're a growing
Go back and
company.
add another class later.
You would,
Yeah.
So Amy, from what I understand, and this was a little while ago, you can add another classification if you're the first to market in that space. If somebody else is doing something in that space already before you, then you can't trademark it because they beat you to it in business. So you have to be the first to market with it, and the first to market is the one that's entitled to the trademark.
I think this is a good thing that we tackle this because we need to be focused on what we're doing, because if somebody else beat us to it, then we can add it in there.
Okay, so we're saying that if we want to do a new service offering, if we get to the point where, say if we register under education, but then we decide we want to do real estate, then we would have to file a new application for real estate.
I think if we get enough momentum that somebody else is trying to add trademarks to it, I don't necessarily know that it's gonna matter, because our brand will mean something, and they can't take away our trademark if it's granted. So I just don't think it's gonna matter a whole lot. Once we get the first one, if somebody tries to throw in a second one, I think they're gonna have more of the problem than we are.
Okay.
I'm gonna hop off here. I'll take a look at the Trello, and I'll get back with you, Teresa, this week.
All right, thank you. Do we want to set a deadline for filing a trademark?
I think we can set up another meeting if anybody else would like to review the Trello information, then just tell us when that meeting would be so we can be ready when that time comes.
Okay. Our next scheduled meeting is next Wednesday, is that right? Or next Tuesday?
I think you mentioned Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, we've got to take a look and see, because I know that we've got that podcast session tomorrow for the community call, but and right now I think that we should focus on getting the see what more momentum that we can get off of the hackathon, the Gitcoin hackathon. I don't want to miss that window.
Okay. Well, thank you for going over an additional 30 minutes to cover the trademark, Tyler and Jason. And I think that it was important that we do that, even though it's a difficult process to project what we're doing here in this early stage. So thank you for bearing with us. Those of us who understand how marketing is and how important this is. I appreciate your willingness to work and spend the extra time in this area. And with that, I am complete. You just let me know when you want to schedule the next meeting.
Yeah, no, let's talk tomorrow, Teresa. I'm about spent here for today as far as the tomorrow night, and make sure that we're all on the same page as far as the podcast meeting that you're wanting for that we've got for tomorrow, and we can talk then about the I think the next DAO working group to go through the Gnosis safe, and I'll take some of those conversations offline too.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Good working today.
Yeah, we got a lot done. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.